The giants of the track, welcome to the legendary Nürburgring. Yes, this is maybe a truck in my height, but I'm so glad that we are back here at the Nürburgring. Famously, welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. This is the small edition we're going to see soon. The big, the huge, the truck monsters, 5 tons machines on this grid right now, and we are so glad to be back here at the famous Nürburgring. The drivers are on to their parade, and we're going to see them back soon here at the grid. It's grid walk time with everyone, and the fans are so glad that they could feel and touch and see, maybe not officially, but unofficially sometimes, the giant trucks. And we are so glad to be back here, and maybe we'll have a look at what is going around here. And please welcome also co-commentators, Chas Dreikert, it's Jörg Hennig, and it's Fonzie Cebrian. Have fun.
Yes, hello everybody, Chas Dreikert back once again for the 2024 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. My wonderful colleague, Jörg Hennig, is doing the German commentary this weekend. Our usual Joachim Eberts is doing the German commentary here at the Nürburgring on the circuit as well. And we have our very own Lena van der Mars out there doing the fan TV for this weekend. She's on the Corona trailer with the drivers and everybody involved in the drivers' parade. Luke Garrett there on the left-hand side with Jonathan Andre. Lucas Hahn having a laugh with Heinrich Clemens-Hecker. It's mighty windy here this weekend at the Nürburgring. I can tell you that I'm definitely not wearing the shorts and t-shirt that I was yesterday. It's very much jacket and trousers for today to try and keep warm wherever possible. The sun is shining though. It's a lot drier than it was yesterday, which is going to be important for the drivers themselves when they're out on the circuit. It's going to be a lot more of a comfortable scenario for them. And I'm sure that they are hoping that the rain stays away. Although, to be honest, I was watching the amazing go and stop competition yesterday evening with Heinrich Clemens-Hecker and some of his team as well. And we had a really good laugh despite the rain. And Heinrich was actually saying that he wants a lot of rain to come later on in the day, so he can feel a lot more comfortable out there on the circuit. He does quite well in the wet conditions, so he's been hoping for a bit of that out there. You can see, I think that was Norbert Kish in the red jacket there with the hood up. It's actually been a massive heat wave in Hungary at the moment as well. I was speaking to Csaba Bako and some of their team, so it's very fitting that Norby must feel very, very cold up there compared to how it's been back home at the moment. It's a very funny sight, to be fair to him, but that does encapsulate how cold it is out there at the moment. It's very, very, as we say in the UK, nippy indeed. Let's have a look back at qualifying then and see how it all transpired to get them to where they are on the grid for today. We started out with a lot of showground attractions in the inside of the circuit before qualifying got underway. There's always a lot to look at here at the International Truck Grand Prix. It's great fun. And everybody headed out into the circuit in what were very greasy conditions. It had been a lot wetter during free practice too. Some drivers, Steffi Helm in particular, getting caught out at the start of the lap. Lucas Hahn working very, very hard to put in some decent times in his Iveco. Great to have him back as well. There was a few battles going on the circuit as well. Jonathan Andre sending it down the inside of Steffi Helm and actually going off the circuit at one point. Bradley Smith putting in a good effort for the first time in the MAN this season. We saw him earlier on in the campaign in Ollie James' Freightliner. We had 3 sessions, of course, Q1 to Q2 and then Q3. And then we had everybody out on track together to put in the best possible times that they could.
So let's come on in the grid walk. We of course got the grid personnel here, and we got Santa Claus over here. Ist schon wieder Weihnachten?
Nein, ich wollte euch darauf vorbereiten, dass in 5 Monaten Weihnachten ist.
Okay, in 5 months it's Christmas, don't forget. Thank you very much for the reminder. I think it's Christmas today because we're here celebrating. Hallo, schönen guten Tag. Ja, sehr gerne. Auf Englisch dann. In English. Are you a fan of...
A little bit.
Which fan? You're a fan of whom?
Fan of whom? What do you mean? My English is not so... Für wen bin ich Fan? Apollo. Apollo.
Macht Spaß?
Klar.
Super.
Achso, kann doch ja Deutsch. Ja, läuft.
So you said he's had big fun of it. So absolutely big fan of truck racing, of course. So do you see how many people are here? It's absolutely packed. We got Team Reves over here. So it's of course the leader of the pack and everyone wants to see Norbert Kischbis. He's still on the road over there. And maybe have a chat with Shaba Baku. Shaba, just shortly, quick. Because this, thank you. The sun is shining and the conditions are very, very great. What do you expect from the first race today?
Well, of course, I expect and I would like Norbit to win, but we can never be sure. You know, it's a technical sport. There are complicated machines, so I'm always worried about the technique, as this is our responsibility. But I really hope that everything will work and we will win this one.
The fans are here and they are touching maybe sometimes the truck. I hope it's all right for you. But what are the main questions you're hearing from the fans, maybe if you talk to them?
You know, it's always about the performance, as we have a huge engine and these are huge machines. The spectators are mostly interested in the performance, how much horsepower does it have, how much fuel it takes. So these are the main questions we have most of the times.
And who wants to race with it?
It's difficult. Yeah. I hope Norby will get in and we will have the best chance with him.
Thank you very much. So back to you, Chas. Thank you.
Always great to hear from Csaba Bako. He's an absolute star, a lovely engineer and a very, very good man at what he does. I tell you what, he's an incredibly talented bloke. But we have a very packed grid down there on the start-finish straight here at the Nürburgring, which is always great to see. There's so many fans out there this weekend. I've been recording my vlog again for this weekend and trying to walk through the pit lane and the paddock earlier on with a GoPro in front of you, trying not to walk into so many of the people that there are here. It is quite the challenge, actually. It's been very, very difficult to move around, but that's one of the beauties of the Truck Grand Prix. It's always packed with people, and there's such a fantastic atmosphere as well. You know, everybody's here for the same thing. They all want to enjoy the truck racing and get amongst it. And the drivers and the teams, they really reciprocate that as well. You know, they always enjoy having so many fans and so much appreciation around here, which is lovely to see. But they're all making their way around the grid now to enjoy themselves and make the most out of whatever they can this weekend. Because there's so much to see here at the Nürburgring. You know, there's always constant entertainment and attractions everywhere. Always something to look at and always people to speak to. Christina being one of them. She's down there on the grid.
Absolutely, and I've got the maximizer for you. It's Max Hopp. He's a famous dart champion from Germany. I'm so glad that he's joining us. And of course, he's got his darts with him. It's all about the grip on the tires, what it is about on the darts.
Yeah, actually also about the grip and how you throw them. So technique is literally 50% in the darts. And yeah, for me, it's totally crazy to be here in front of the trucks. I mean, I'm a big guy, but these trucks are even bigger.
Imagine how I'm impressed. Very right also. But it's good fun because you're challenging also the people here. Yes. They can throw some darts, and if they're really, really good, they're going to be on main stage competing with you. Are you kind of nervous as well? Please tell the fans yes.
Yes, I'm actually because tonight there's going to be a full crowd, so around 18,000 people going to be there, and yeah, 2 lucky guys going to play me on the stage in between the breaks of the music act, and yeah. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a lot of fun, and for me it's just great to be here in front of the trucks. I heard these 2 are the favorites, by the way. They won the qualification, right? I didn't see anything of it, but they tell these guys are quite good.
Yeah. You can tell by the numbers here, it's 1 and 2, so he's on the pole position. It's Norbert Kirsch, he's also the leader of the pack, and this is Jochen Hahn, the local hero. So how do you imagine competing in the trucks? It's rumbling, and the atmosphere is also very, very special for you also, because you've got the rumbling noise on the fans. How do you focus throwing throwing a dart in such great atmosphere?
Yeah, I mean, we play quite often in the UK, and there are a lot of fans who enjoy themselves and make a lot of entertainment. So it's just all about dedication to the board and just keep your focus, concentrate. We have certain rituals we do before we play, so I will be fully focused out there, and I hope these guys are going to be fully focused, but because they can't afford any mistakes, otherwise the race is it's fucked.
Sorry, English sweep. But what are your rituals?
My rituals, obviously good sportsmen never pronounce them, but there's one ritual I do all the time. 10 minutes before I go on the stage, I hear my favorite song and just talk to nobody and close my eyes and just feel the energy and get out there and give the energy I get from the song to the people, and that's one of the things I never change.
I read it was DJ Ötzi, Hey Baby. Is it still that song or another tune?
Well, that's a tune I walk in with. But literally, the song I hear is from Die Toten Hosen, An Tagen wie diesen, because that soaks up the energy, and because days like these are not happen very often in the calendar year, so you just need to enjoy them to the fullest, and everybody should have a good time.
The nickname of this truck is Baloo, by the way, and your nickname is Maximizer.
Yeah.
Why is it so important to have those nicknames in darts?
It's totally important because the opponent fears you when you have a hard nickname, and obviously we don't search for them ourselves. We get these nicknames, and because I was known for throwing the maximum numbers, 180, they called me the Maximizer, and obviously with my name Max, that's a perfect match, and it sticks since the beginning of my career, already 11 years, yeah.
Will we see you another day than at truck racing? But it sounds like that you're fascinated.
Definitely, I'm fascinated. Obviously, I was at the Hockenheimring before, and last week at the MotoGP in Sachsen, Saxony. But I've never been to the Nürburgring. It's my first time. But I would like to come back next year and maybe sit in one of those trucks, because only one time in my life I was in a truck, and that was on an electronic truck, e-Actros. That was on the Messe in Hanover, exhibition hall from Daimler trucks back in the years. But I would love to be in one of these race trucks.
Maybe we should arrange something with Frank, the driver of the Pace truck. So thank you, the Maximizer, everyone.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you later on the stage.
Dankeschön.
Super, auch von dir. Ey. Das war
Brilliant stuff. Always lovely to hear from the people on the grid, and the Maximizer himself providing a lot of entertainment for us out there on the circuit. But this is what I mean. You know, this whole event is full of great ways to be entertained and things to get involved in here at the Nürburgring at the International Truck Grand Prix. And you can see now all the fans taking their seats, getting prepared on the rooftops up there as well, ready to go. And they'll be asked to clear the grid very soon, and then we can get the racing underway. We're going to have Norbert Kish on pole position with Jochen Hahn alongside him, Sascha Lenz and Antonio Albacetti on the second row, with Andre Kurzim and Lucas Hahn in fifth position. Steffi Halm, after the incident at Zolder a couple of weeks ago, has had a 3-place grid penalty, so she'll start a few positions further back from where she qualified yesterday, but I'm sure that she can fight through the pack and make those positions back up. There's our Ford F-Max on the right-hand side of your shot, with the Iveco S-Way, the Bio-LNG Iveco S-Way on the left. And then in the middle, you can see Jochen Hahn's number 2 Iveco S-Way as well, starting on the front row of the grid once again. Such a huge atmosphere here at the Nürburgring, though, wherever you go. And there's so many personnel around to take the reins of the weekend. Benedict just off to the left-hand side of shot there, making his way towards the front of the grid to oversee proceedings. But once again, very Eiffel weather, it has to be said. Just looking out the window again right now, there's a lot of cloud about, but the sun has been shining through bit by bit as the weekend has started, so we need to just try and keep our eyes out for any dry patches that we could possibly get, you see. You never know what you're going to get here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Combine that with never knowing what you're going to get here at the Nürburgring, and you get one fantastic combination for plenty of entertainment. It is getting to that point of the broadcast, though, everybody, where I need to go quiet for a few moments. We're going to introduce our TV audience from all around the world to the show, and then we will all be together ready to get some truck racing underway. So give me a few more moments, and we'll be back in a sec.
Ladies and gentlemen and motorsports enthusiastic, welcome to the legendary Nürburgring and welcome to the International ADAC Truck Grand Prix. It's mid-season, it's one of the absolute highlights of the season, and of course it's time for truck racing to get those giant trucks back on the road. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be huge fun. Welcome everyone, all the fans worldwide. And speaking of trophies and winning trophies, those contestants, they try to win those trophies at this weekend, but the FIA 3-star environmental accreditation was given to the ETRA, to this championship, to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It's a huge achievement. So I was asking George Fuchs, he is the managing director of the ETRA, so how was that achievement made? And of course, I want to know about the feelings about it. So the 3-star accreditation, that's really, really huge step for the ETRA. How does it feel to achieve such great honor?
Very good. I mean, we are really very proud of having achieved the FIA 3-star environmental accreditation, which also has been awarded to F1, Formula E and alikes. And basically we are really happy to be also in line with our fellow car colleagues. So from that point of view, the work for sustainability transition really paid off.
Absolutely, and it was not easy to get there. There was a full audit day. How can I imagine that day going on?
No, it was really good. I mean, the auditor was really very nice and friendly, very professional, and basically he was led through by our sustainability expert, Barbara Proske, who really took on the lead, and a lot of credits and thanks to her as well.
Could you give us a small insight? What was checked?
Basically everything. I mean, they want to check that the sustainability work and environmental approach is really done in a proper way, and this is basically, it's a fundamental part of our business. So it's not only been mandated by our shareholder, ADAC, but it's also really a fundamental part of our business to live that, because we want to live as a best practice example to really show that it can work, it can make fun, and from that point of view, yeah, we are really happy about that.
So how do you maintain this high level, or maybe even surpass it?
Surpassing is quite difficult because it's the highest level of recognition you can get from FIA with regards to that work. But we are open in terms of technology, what's happening on the track. So we have been the very first motorsport series to switch to 100% HVO, sustainable fuel, bio-LNG. The full electric race truck prototype is there, and now we are tackling basically the pillar of hydrogen. So today there took place the very first FIA hydrogen working group for trucks with about 40 industry representatives. So that's really a technology that's quite interesting for the industry, and we are embedded into the industry, and basically that's the next step we want to take.
Absolutely great, and we are here at the Transformation Tech Race Hub, so you can see all the techniques if you want to come on by. What are we going to see on the grid for our next technique?
At the end, it's up to the teams, up to the manufacturers, what technology we are seeing. The e-race truck prototype is already there, so the next step basically to have it racing is not that far. For hydrogen, probably takes a little bit more. It's more complicated to have it racing, but that's actually the interesting part also for the industry, that it's kind of something they can form together with FIA and us. So at the end, it will be quite interesting. I'm curious by myself what we will see next.
Congratulations, great achievement. And of course we wanted to show you this certificate, so it's really huge improvement, also the roadmap to sustainability, and really good achievement. So we're going to present you right now the track layout, because this is very special, the race number 1 here at the Nürburgring. Chaz, please.
Thank you, Christina. Yeah, welcome to the Nürburgring, everybody. The absolute staple of the championship. This is such a legendary location. Great to be back once again here in 2024 for the International ADAC Truck Grand Prix with the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship as the highlight. This is how the circuit looks that we are racing on this weekend. Not the full Grand Prix circuit here at the Nürburgring. The whole bottom end down towards the Mullenbach-Schleifer and the Dunlop-Kehrer, that is all converted basically to have all the show trucks either side of the track. And there's a rock concert that goes on over the whole weekend in that hairpin. It's absolutely awesome. It's a huge party here at the Nürburgring. But as you can see, we still have a very technical and difficult circuit to think about. The Mercedes Arena, so tough for these drivers to get right. There's a lot of elevation change and a lot of sections where the truck can suddenly go from understeer to oversteer. Bilstein curve is important as well to get a run down towards Ad Van Bogen, and the final chicane and even the final corner catching a few drivers out. I spoke to Norbert Kish yesterday after qualifying, and he said in his first lap that final corner really can catch people out very, very easily. It's a long sweeping right-hander, but you've got to be hard on the brakes and then quickly off them and try and be as smooth as possible. This is how the starting grid looks then. Norbert Kish on pole position, a 1:53.992, a very, very quick time indeed from him, which puts him on pole alongside Jochen Hahn. Sascha Lenz and Antonio Albacetti make up the second row of the grid, very close together, with Andre Kurzim in 5th position. He was promoted there after Steffi Halm's penalty. Lucas Hahn will line up in 6th place, ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, with Stefan Faas alongside him on row 4. Steffi's penalty takes her down to 9th position, with Mark Taylor completing the top 10 positions here at the Nürburgring. Jonathan Andre is next up in 11th, with Clemens Hecker alongside him. John Newell starts alongside Louis Requenco on the 7th row of the grid, while Bradley Smith returns to the series in an MAN. He starts 15th, with Luke Garrett alongside him in 16th position. The biggest grid that we've had so far this season, and what a fantastic place to have it as well. Look at the beautiful Nürburgring and our beautiful grid, with Norbert Kish yet again on pole position. So far this season, he's taken every pole position possible. He took almost every race win, but if you'd have joined us at Zolder last time out, you'd have seen that it was Jochen Hahn and Lucas Hahn that got a 1-2 finish in the final race of the weekend at Zolder. A lovely father-son moment between the two of them, once again showing us that they are at the pinnacle of the sport. Here is our Ford F-Max on its inspection lap, making its way around, being driven by the wonderful May Fisher. It's great to have her back with us again for this weekend, putting the truck through its paces and showcasing it beautifully throughout the weekend. It's actually very sunny down there at the moment at that part of the circuit, which is great to see. So we may have an even drier and hotter track for our drivers. They'll be very grateful for that. But this inspection lap serving the purpose of just making sure that there's no debris, no spillages, nothing on the circuit that could cause the race to be stopped for any reason. And very soon we'll unleash this thing, the pace truck, the Iveco S-Way Bio-LNG powered machine. And it will lead us away from the rest of the grid and provide us with fantastic views of the circuit, at least. I mean, you'll all remember when we had the Prototype Cup here with us a few years ago. There was a fantastic scene where the pace truck was actually used for the Prototype Cup out there on the circuit, and you could see the real size difference between the massive Iveco S-Way and the LMP3 cars that it led around. You can see the fans on the bank there on the grandstand on the right-hand side as May brings the official truck to the final part of the lap through the chicane. A little bit of a kiss of the curb here and there. One of 2 Ford F-Maxes that we have in the paddock with us this season. And filing into the pit lane there on the right-hand side to complete the job. There you see all 16 trucks lined up ready to go, although it seems like, to me, Bradley Smith's truck has pulled over to the right-hand side near the wall. I'm not sure if they've had some sort of problem, because it looked like he was way over to the right-hand side, signifying that he was going to pull over and maybe just drive down towards the end of the pit lane or something. We'll have to see. But you can see the heat haze rising as well, mainly from the engines. Now they've been started and ready to go, but it is pretty warm out there by the look of it now. It's heating up quite quickly here at the Nürburgring, as it often does. You can see what I mean, though. Look, Luke Garrett is in position there behind Louis Requenco. You should be able to see the back of Bradley Smith's truck at the back of the grid, but where he would normally be there, he's not. He's over to the right-hand side, right by the wall. We'll keep our eye out, though, as the 30-second board was shown just a moment ago. I've just nearly fallen off my chair again, like I did yesterday. And we prepare for the first of 4 races this weekend in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. These 4 rounds signifying rounds 13, 14, 15 and 16 of the season. And the green flag flies, and we are led away by the bio-LNG powered Iveco S-Way, reducing up to 95% of the emissions with no noticeable difference to power and torque from the perspective of the driver. It drives and operates just like any other road truck will. So having the bio-LNG, not conversion as such, but running on bio-LNG, not causing any detriment to anybody involved. Bradley Smith has carried on though, which is good to see. He's made it down towards turn 1 and files in. And this is how the grid looks. Norbert Kish starting on pole position with Jochen Hahn alongside him. In the UK we say, if I had a quid. Sasha Lenz on the next row with Antonio Albacete alongside him. 2 more legends of the sport making waves towards the front end of the field. Andrei Kurzim and Lucas Hahn make it an all Iveco row 3. Great to see Lucas going so well. He's the highest placed in the chrome category. He's chased by Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Stefan Faas not too far behind him either in qualifying. Stefan looking forward to a good day of action. Steffi Halm will start in 9th place after the penalty from Zolder, with Mark Taylor completing the top 10 positions. We then move on to row number 6, and I can tell you it's not Jamie Anderson there on the grid. It's actually Jonathan Andre, who is alongside Clement Hecker. I think that's because they shared the same 3-digit allocation as last season. John Newell then lines up alongside Louis Riquenco on the next row of the grid, with Bradley Smith in truck 33 alongside Luke Garrett, truck number 42, in 16th position. What a fantastic sight as they now head down towards us. Just looking at the layout of this grid, there's a few chrome drivers ahead of Steffi Halm, the Titan driver. She'll be hoping to make the most out of this race and get forward as quickly as possible, so that there isn't any hold up to her progress. All the fans taking their place, ready to go. Mark Taylor holding on to a position in the top 10 at the start here would be important for him. Let's not forget as well that we have the reverse grid element for the second race of the day later on, which will provide us with a lot of action, as this one will as well. So around the final corner they go then, and up towards the start-finish line here at the Nürburgring for race 1 of the weekend in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And there's the legendary shot of all of the engineers shouting go when the lights go out. And we are away and racing here at the International ADAC Truck Grand Prix. Norbert Kish holds the inside line down towards turn 1. Jochen Hahn just to his left, everybody trying to sneak to that inside line as tightly as they can. Sasha Lenz wants to take second place from Jochen. Looks like he got a little bit of a kiss there from Antonio Albacete. Heinrich Clement Hecker has been hung out really wide. He's going to come back on the circuit. Oh, contact there between Mark Taylor and Steffi Halm in the midfield, and a little bit more as well as the back end of Mark's truck slides out sideways. But look at that down the inside from Antonio Albacete on Sasha Lenz. He gets his nose in there for 3rd position, gets on the power early, and he's going to get in front, is he? But no, Sasha's still there down the inside. A little bit of contact between the two, and Antonio runs out wide. He tried to close the door on Sasha. Sasha said no thank you, and through he goes. Holds on to 3rd position anyway. Norbert Kish holds the lead. Jochen Hahn next up. Sasha under pressure already from Lucas Hahn, who's made a good start. He's got ahead of Andrei Kurzim, and now Antonio Albacete as a result of that contact. There's the battle for the lead in the, well, sorry, for second place in the Chrome class actually, because Lucas is that far up the road. Here's Eduardo Rodriguez and Stefan Faas close together. Steffi Halm not quite past those guys yet, but she's ahead of Mark Taylor, who's holding on in front of Heinrich Clement Hecker as well. Clemens puts his nose down the inside actually and tries the move through the right-hander. Does he make that stick? He does not. Jonathan Andre all over the back of him right now, trying to take that position away from him. As Bradley Smith, truck 33, chasing John Newell for what will be 14th position at this point. As John has a little bit of a moment, to say the least, over the chicane. It's always very tough getting on the brakes down there. He and Bradley have raced together a lot before in the British Championship. Tries to squeeze him to the wall. As Bradley looks down the inside, Bradley, by the look of it, looking to back out of that one slightly. But after the first lap, it's Norbert Kiss, Jochen Hahn, Sascha Lenz, Lucas Hahn, Antonio Albacetti and Andre Kurzim. Antonio wanting to make the move as soon as possible to get past Lucas. He's put his nose all the way down the inside into turn one, takes a really tight line on the way in. Doesn't get it done this time round. Lucas ran a little bit wider. He gave the space down the inside, in fairness to him. But he knew that with that wider line, he could carry the momentum out of the corner and speed away from Antonio. The MAN putting a lot of pressure on, though, as they head out of the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Sascha Lenz now with a little bit of breathing room between himself and Lucas Hahn. Lucas leading the Chrome class at the moment, though. You can see the little letters next to their nationalities at the moment. The T is for Titan drivers. C is for Chrome. They're drivers that hadn't hit a certain level of sort of achievement within the championship before this season. They now head back down the hill with Lucas Hahn holding on in front of Antonio Albacetti. It's all very close in the midfield at the moment. Through the chicane, it's always a great sight to see them hobbling and bobbling their way through that chicane. Steffi Helm there, just behind Jose Eduardo Rodriguez at this point. He's also trying to put pressure on Stefan Fast. Nobody putting much pressure on Norbert Kiss at the moment. He is off and away. Look at how close they are together as they head onto the brakes into turn one. Remarkably close together. There's Clemens Hecker trying to chase down Mark Taylor. I wonder if Mark's got a little bit of damage from that contact earlier on in the race. He and Steffi made a bit of contact out of turn one. And Clemens is looking to attack, look right into the back of Mark there. Just gives him a little bit of a tap on the way into the left-hander. Yes, there is a puncture actually for Mark Taylor. The right rear has a puncture. You can see it flailing around. So already he's having to race with 5 wheels instead of the usual 6 that these trucks have. Clemens will know that. He's trying to take advantage of it. But these trucks, they can operate with a puncture on the outer rear tyres and still run at a decent pace. They can still run at 90% of their race pace, but that's not what Mark wants this early on in the weekend. They head down the hill now, and he's definitely under attack here from Clemens Hecker. Somebody's put the penalty marker right into the middle of the road. In the background there, you can see Bradley Smith attacking Louis Requenco. John Newell has dropped down behind the rest of the field at the moment. He's trying to get back past Luke Garrett. All while running on our 100% renewable HVO diesel, of course. Total Energy's the prime partner of the championship here in 2024 to provide it. We've got a debris warning in turns 1 and 8 because of the either pieces of truck or the penalty markers. I think the turn 8 warning will definitely be that penalty marker we just saw a moment ago. Antonio Albacetti still not able to get past Lucas Hahn at this stage. Lucas holding on and defending brilliantly. We've seen him defend well before. And he's once again showing us how it's done here at the Nürburgring this weekend. And this is only the first of 4 races for the weekend, let's not forget, so plenty of action still to come. Everybody just, I think, settling into a bit of a rhythm at this stage of the race. It's early doors in the weekend. You don't want to throw away any points by doing anything silly. So the drivers are just playing it safe in these opening moments. Clemens Hecker once again closing right up to the back of Mark Taylor, but you can see as he goes through left-handers, that's where the truck is not going to behave itself, because it's leaning on that right rear tyre as he gets on the power. There is Stefan Fast in front of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. A little bit of a lock-up there on the brakes. That front left tyre just having a bit of a moment, and Jose sends it up the inside. A little bit of a snatch of the brakes from himself as well on that front right wheel. And he goes through. Fantastic move from Jose Eduardo. Really committed stuff there. Great respect from Stefan Fast to give him the room. Wow, that was a busy move, that one. Great to see Jose Eduardo back at full pace, though. He missed all of the racing on Sunday at Zolder due to an engine failure. They didn't have the necessary components with them to fix the engine on the day. So unfortunately missed out, and Stefan Fast closed in the Chrome Championship fight. Jose Eduardo back with us, and back in his own team colours as well. He was wearing the Lion Truck Racing colours for Jonathan Andre earlier on in the season. Now he's back in the blue, white and red of the Rebo Connaught Racing team. Steffi Halm there, hoping for an opportunity to try and get past Stefan Fast as well. Looked like Antonio Albacetti was maybe setting up a move down the inside of Lucas Hahn there. You could say he was Albasetting it up. I know Tim Frost is going to kill me for that one. There is the lovely black, red and yellow Tank Pool 24 machine. I love this Scania, one of the best looking trucks on the grid. Fantastic design, really bold, with the man filter branding on the back of it for this season. They joined them last season actually, and then it's sort of made its way further forward. There's more and more yellow on that truck every time we see it. Might be fully yellow by the end of the season. You can see the green fifth wheel as well, the 100% renewable HVO branding on there with Total Energies as well. Well, a decent train of vehicles here at the moment. Norbert Kish still leading the way though, 3.2 seconds to the good, with Jochen Hahn in second place, Sascha Lenz in third, and Albacetti is ahead of Lucas Hahn, but he's on his second warning for penalty markers right now. Thanks once again to Barbara, who is down there in race control, providing all of the info. We've had a few teams and drivers warned for it. The Hungarian flag's flying in the grandstand there for Norbert Kish, who comes through once again in the race lead and the championship lead at this midpoint of the season. After race 2 later on today, it will be literally the halfway point of the campaign. We have 28 races in 2024, and that will be the 14th race of the season complete. Across the line goes Norby. Another lap in the books. So this is lap 6 out of 12. The counter in the top left tells us how many laps have been completed so far. And he now has a 3.3 second lead over the rest of the pack. There is Mark Taylor still in front of Clemens Hecker. Still holding on at this stage. Clemens not able to make a move just yet. Jonathan Andre not far behind these guys. It could all very easily turn into a much closer battle though. All it takes is one mistake, and at the end of the day Mark is still trying to make the most of what he can with that puncture on the right rear. He's holding on to it really well at the moment. Penalty marker warning going for Clemens Hecker. There's Antonio Albacetti, who currently has 2 of them. On his way around the hairpin back into 4th position. He's ahead now of Lucas Hahn, who leads the way in the Chrome class. He's got Andre Curzin between himself and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Bit of a lock-up there from Antonio as he turns through the right-hander. Still gathers it all up on the exit though, keeps it tidy. Another shot there from the chicane. Love the change of direction on these machines, and bobbling over the curbs yet again there. they start to attack them. Once they sort of appreciate and understand where the penalty markers are, you will see the drivers attack it more and more as the weekend goes on. There's Andrei Kurzin in the very interestingly designed Iveco S-Way. They've got this very busy front end on that machine for this year. And second penalty marker warning has just gone out for Clement Ecker, so he's had 2 in 2 laps. So he needs to be careful, because on the third offence is when you can end up with a penalty. Kurzin just holding on at the moment in front of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Jose Eduardo wants to get through as quickly as he can to try and obviously take the Chrome class lead. The championship itself taking the lead with FIA 3-star environmental accreditation, as we discussed earlier in the broadcast. An absolutely brilliant achievement by everyone involved in the championship. There's been so much hard work going on behind the scenes to get to that point. And the sustainability is the forefront of this championship's ethos. And it's been great to get that recognition from everybody involved. Lucas Hahn there, keeping a bit of daylight between himself and Andrei Kurzin. Here's Eduardo Rodriguez, definitely putting the German under pressure right now. You can see Andrei moving the back end of the truck around a little bit, one way then the other, trying his very hardest to stay in front. Stefan Faust has dropped away a little bit there, with Steffi Halm just behind. But Norbert Kish opening up that lead now to 4.3 seconds. Jochen Hahn's got a decent advantage then over Sascha Lenz. And then Antonio Albacetti a few seconds back from that. So they're spread out in the top 4 at the moment. Lucas seemingly comfortable in the lead of the Chrome class, but we know how quickly anything can change in any form of motorsport and in truck racing. Like Chaba said earlier on from Revace Racing, anything can change very quickly. These can be quite fragile machines. I do always tell you all about how tough and strong they are, but they can be fragile as well. They can throw up the strangest of failures. I was speaking to a driver yesterday. I don't remember, unfortunately for them and me, and for the sake of this broadcast, who it was. But there was a driver yesterday explaining to me that, you know, you build all these incredibly tough race trucks. They're very sturdy, very beefy, as we say. And then the slightest, tiniest thing can throw up a failure for you. And there was a driver who had a failure of a sort of, it was like a £1.50 plastic part, just some small little bit of a covering that held a component in place that broke away, and it completely destroyed their race. Completely destroyed the race, and that's all it fell down to. Is the truck was basically undrivable. The number 66, which is Jonathan Andre, is under investigation for overspeeding right now. I was going to say he's under pressure for overspeeding, but yeah, I think it's definitely not something you're under pressure for. Well, you might be when you're under investigation. I don't know. Depends if he's been told or not. Looking back here at Mark Taylor with Clement Ecker still hot on his heels. And Jonathan Andre next up behind them. And the start was under investigation earlier, as you saw, but they've determined that it's absolutely fine now. No further action to be taken on that. You could just see that right rear tyre of Mark Taylor's truck looking very second-hand. I think the wheel rim has come away very far, actually. It looked like there was some white tyre rating on the wheel. And again, we see Jamie Anderson pop up on the screen. He did message me before, actually, saying I didn't know I was there. They're in spirit, Jamie, I'm sure. We all miss you, Jamie. Hope to see you back at some point. Hope all is well. But Jonathan Andre, of course, with the AND designation on the left-hand side of the screen, is clearly defaulted to Jamie instead of Jonathan. But we will have that sorted. But you can see now Mark Taylor is still doing all right with that tyre. It's the right-handers are fine. At the end of the day, it's a clockwise circuit here at the Nürburgring, and there's a lot more right-handers than there is lefts. Counting it, there is only, what, 4 left-handers on the circuit. You've got turn 2, turn 3, turn 6, and then turn 9. They're the only left-handers on the track, so there's not too many places where that tyre is going to cause a huge issue. But he won't be at full chat all the way, because it will still upset the balance of the truck around places like this here in the Mercedes-Benz Arena. He puts the truck on the inside line of the circuit. Clemens Hecker closes up on the brakes. Mark takes his time through there. Here's another look back at it going through the chicane. You can see it leans so far on that right rear wheel. Look at the alloy, the wheel itself just completely shredded, flailing around. You can see just how much these trucks move under the weight of them. They're 5.3 tons minimum weight. They really do lean and depend on that suspension so much. Stefan Fast running a little bit wide there through the left-hander. Steffi Helm hasn't been able to make much ground so far. I did wonder whether she had some damage as well. There is our race leader, Norbert Kisch, continuing on his merry way at the front of the field in the big red MAN. Doing an awesome job of it right now. 4.9 seconds ahead of Jochen Hahn. Hard onto the brakes into turn one, nice and smooth. It's a very difficult braking zone down into turn one because it is so sharp downhill and it's such a sharp corner you're going into as well. The truck sort of bounces away for you, or from you. Now we saw Stefan Fast run wide not too long ago. He's now under investigation for track limits and his third penalty marker. Look at the compression there as Norbert Kisch's truck dives down through turn one. You can see the incredible, it's not a camber angle, it's a caster angle of these trucks. So when they turn the front wheels really far and you get a really steep angle on them, the front wheel leans so much away to make sure that it retains a solid contact patch with the circuit and that the rubber is touching the circuit as much as possible at all times, because the weight of the cab, you can see it there, trying to pull that wheel off the ground. Look at the lean on the body. They maintain this incredible caster angle. When you see them in the paddock, it almost looks like the suspension has collapsed or broken when they turn the wheel to full pelt. And we had a penalty just a moment ago for Jonathan Andre. That's come through. He was in 12th position, and of course that will knock him down a position, unfortunately. All these trucks, a reminder that they run on 100% renewable HVO diesel. You can also get penalties for black smoke in the championship as well, if there are any emissions that don't meet the sort of sustainable ethos of the championship. Then you will be penalised for providing such emissions and be brought into the pit lane to try and sort it out and send them back out again. We saw it for Clemens Hecker at Zolder. And there's no team, no driver that is immune from it. I think it was here at the Nürburgring actually a few seasons ago where Norbert Kisch was brought in during qualifying. And it was the first time in a long time that he didn't start on pole position. Andre Kurzim still holding on in front of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. You can see it's not a particularly hot circuit at the moment. And that shot tells us otherwise with all of the heat haze, but that's mainly coming from the trucks themselves. There's Clemens Hecker with the front left bit of bodywork hanging off. Penalty for Jonathan Andre is a drive-through penalty for overspeeding. And that comes up on the screen and signifies that he will have to serve that in a couple of laps' time. We're actually on lap 11 out of 12 here. The entire race has nearly gone by. So he's got 10 seconds and a drive-through now as Jonathan Andre. So welcome back, Jonathan, it seems. It was great to see him, though, yesterday. I had a quick chat with him, and he was very, very happy to be back with us here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. He's a lovely addition to the grid, always very happy, very smiley. And again, look at this battle going on here. You can bet that the damage has come from a bit of contact between the two there as Clemens Hecker has tried to take another bite out of that right rear tyre of Mark Taylor's. He's got a little bit of an overlap, though, here through the right-hander. Oh, tries to get it stopped on the apex. Mark gives him all the room in the world, runs wide. Clemens Hecker's on the power, sliding it sideways on the exit. Still doesn't get the move done. Great defensive driving this from Mark Taylor. It's important for Stefan Fast to hold on to 8th position as well, because that will give him pole position for race 2 of the day. A little bit later on, Mark's only got one more lap to hold on here in front of Clemens. But there, look at the state of that tyre. The entire wheel has been bent out of shape and completely destroyed that outside tyre. Clemens Hecker trying to take a bite out the left rear now instead as they go one way, then the other, down the hill. Mark really kicking the back end out, getting on the power as soon as possible. Bradley Smith in the background there, hoping to take advantage of this. Brilliant to see it. Fantastic battling here And it comes with an environmental accreditation as well. Can you believe that? That's why this series is one of the very finest in the world. Truck racing, such a great corner of motorsport to be involved in. And this really is the pinnacle of it as well. Mark with just one more lap to hold on here in front of Heinrich Clemens-Hecker for P10. Top 10 position gives you a championship point outright. Apparently the number 66 is under investigation again for overspeeding. He's not having it his own way at the moment. It is Jonathan Andre. It's not quite worked out for him on this occasion, to say the least. Clemens-Hecker looks to the inside. Mark says, nope, I'm not fazed by it at all. I'm going to take my normal line. And you can do whatever you want back there, but I'm still in front. Norbert Kish still leads the race then on the final lap, with Jochen Hahn next up. Then Sascha Lenz in third position. Then Antonio Albacete. Clemens-Hecker sends it up the inside from a long way back. I think he locked up the front left there, and he has gone down the inside. Not sure if there was much contact. I mean, Clemens-Hecker's bumper says that there was. We look back to the race leader, because Norbert Kish is once again about to take maximum points from the first race of the day. He comes around the final chicane and gets his weekend in the International ADAC Truck Grand Prix off to a fantastic start. Leaning through the last corner, takes it nice and easy on the exit, lights up the rears a little bit, and Norbert Kish wins round 13 of the championship here at the Nürburgring in front of the fantastic German fans, even Hungarian fans making it over here to Germany for this weekend as well. Jochen Hahn next up, second position for him, and Sascha Lenz completes the podium in third place. Antonio Albacete will come home in fourth place, and look at this, this is the battle for 8th position outright, and this will be reverse grid pole position. Steffi Halm puts her nose down the inside at the last corner. Stefan Faas wants to squeeze her to the apex. It doesn't quite work out. Lucas Hahn takes the win in the chrome category, by the way. Maximum points for him there. Andre Kurzim next up, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, and Steffi Halm completing the field in 8th place will be on reverse grid pole position later on this afternoon. Clemens-Hecker beats Mark Taylor to the line for 10th place. 11th place going the way of Bradley Smith. Sorry, 12th place going the way of Bradley Smith. Jonathan Andre into the pit lane in the end for his drive-through penalty, so we'll have to see how the other positions all pan out in the end. It was then Louis Requenco, John Newell and Luke Garrett. But a great job by Norbert Kish to get his weekend off to a great start. He and Reves Racing working really, really well. And second place for Jochen Hahn here at the Truck Grand Prix. Great points for his championship campaign as well. 20 points for Norbert Kish, 15 for Jochen, 12 for Sascha Lenz, and another trophy to go with it. Then Antonio Albacete was next up. Lucas Hahn doing really well to get a 5th place outright in that one. He was ahead of Andre Kurzim. And then a 2nd place in the chrome class there for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Stefan Faas completing the podium. But Lucas back to winning ways in the category once more. And it's great to see as well that we have 3 young drivers here this weekend. They complete the young driver category with the likes of Lucas Hahn, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Bradley Smith. So we'll get a full podium of them for the first time in the championship. Everybody now making their way back into the pit lane, where they'll be greeted by some very, very happy team members, I'm sure. Great job that for Lucas Hahn. He may not be directly in the championship hunt, but that's his 3rd win in a row in the class, ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, who extends his championship lead now to 15 points over Stefan Faas. Next up behind them would have been Mark Taylor, actually, but Clemens-Hecker just beats him to the line in the end. 2 points difference between those guys there. We'll have to see how the rest of the positions panned out. Like I said, there was a lot of chopping and changing at the back there, and with Jonathan Andre's penalty, that'll mean that he could have lost a few places at the end. Round of applause there in the pit lane for Norbert Kish. who takes the race victory. Jochen Hahn next into the pit lane. And once again, we have trucks 1, 2 and 3 in positions 1, 2 and 3. There is Janine, making sure everything is coordinated effectively. She's an absolute star, is Janine. Such a hard worker. I don't think I've ever seen her stand still, to be fair. That's the most still I've ever seen her, when she stands there in front of the trucks. Norby emerges from the MAN. And then we have our Chrome class drivers on their way in. Stefan Faas has overtaken Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on the in-lap, it seems. But it doesn't really matter that they've come in the wrong order. Norby just having a quick look over the tyres, making sure everything's all good. And another thumbs up for him and the team. Big smiles from Csaba and everybody involved. They certainly enjoyed that one. And they always do. They always do. They appreciate every victory, do Reveche Racing. A really strong squad that continues to show us all how it's done. Now you can see the rest of the trucks making their way down the pit lane. You forget how downhill the start-finish straight is here at the Nürburgring until you see those shots. It really does make its way down towards turn 1 all the way along. It's definitely not flat. That's for sure. And the conditions stayed kind to the drivers and teams in that one as well. Looking out the window right now, actually, there's a lot of blue skies. It's blue skies for the Iveco drivers as well, as Lucas Hahn wins in the Chrome class. Jochen Hahn takes second place outright. Great stuff from those guys. Once again, scoring big points. Norby, by the look of it, very hot in the cab there. It might be a bit more humid outside. I'm not feeling the conditions at the moment because I've been spoiled with aircon in here at the moment. I don't quite think Christina's got aircon down there in the pit lane, but I imagine it's nice and cool, is it, Christina?
Absolutely nice and cool, a bit windy, good conditions here at the Nürburgring for Lucas Hahn, also winning at home ground. Congratulations, winning also in the Chrome category, going to be on the podium at the Nürburgring. How did that happen?
Yeah, thank you. I was also in the qualification. I was P1 in the Chrome category, and yeah, after that I have a good start and I move forward. I was also in front of Antonio, but yeah, he was quicker and I don't. Yeah, he overtake me really nice, and it's okay, no problem. Just go, and I just drive a good race and very smooth and make no mistakes. And in the end, we are on the top in the Chrome category.
Congratulations for that smooth driving also with Antonio, but you also had the field in front of you. So how do you concentrate yourself until the last lap, because there are quite long laps here?
Yeah, if you drive alone and you have no fight on the track, you're just driving, and you don't. Yeah, you need to be concentrated. I don't know how to do it, but sometimes I just scream to get more adrenaline. That okay, no, you need to concentrate because don't make mistakes in the end, and that's the point. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Lucas Hahn. We're going to join you to the podium. There's a shuttle. We're going with you. Come on in and have a ride.
Yeah, this is one of the most entertaining parts of the Nürburgring weekend, because the podium is just over there, actually, where our camera is panning past now, just on the left-hand side of shot. They have to take quite the distance to go around there, so they get a little bit of a shuttle and a taxi through. Norbert Kiss takes the win then, 4.8 seconds to the good over Jochen Hahn. He had a decent gap then over Sascha Lenz in third position, with Antonio Albacete coming home in fourth. Lucas Hahn completes the top 5 and wins in the Chrome class ahead of Andre Kurzim in 6th. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is 7th, second in the Chrome class, with Steffi Halm getting 8th position and reverse grid pole position for later on this afternoon. Stefan Faas finishes in 9th place, with Heinrich Clemens Hecker completing the top 10 places and next up in Chrome. Then it was Mark Taylor ahead of Bradley Smith, with Louis Requenco and John Newell. Luke Garrett was next up, and Jonathan Andre, after his drive-through penalty, unfortunately dropped to the back of the pack. As you can see, still quite a lot of cloud around here at the Nürburgring, but it blows over very, very quickly, and we'll hopefully have some more sunshine for the afternoon. Here's the Chrome results. Lucas Hahn taking the victory over Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Only 1.9 seconds between them in the end, with Stefan Faas completing the podium, his first Chrome podium of the weekend as well. Heinrich Clemens-Hecker was next up in 4th place, with Mark Taylor completing the top 5. Then we had Bradley Smith and Louis Requenco ahead of John Newell, Luke Garrett, and Jonathan Andre. Great to see 10 Chrome class drivers out there on the grid for this weekend. Really good turnout, which we always love to see in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And in just a moment's time, we will, I'm sure, be heading to the podium proceedings. Again, one of my favourite bits of the weekend. Then again, just being here on these weekends. You know what I'm like, everybody. I get so excited and enjoy these weekends so much. As the trucks are returned to the paddock. They're often driven by team members back to the paddock at this point, as the drivers go and taste glory, also known as champagne. And all the teams will head back and get working on the trucks between the 2 races. We, of course, have another one coming up later on this afternoon at 5:30. So it's going to be quite a long wait between now and then for the teams, but they'll be very happy to have that at least. The pit exit opens at 5:10 this afternoon. So a good nearly 6 hours from now until then. It's one of the longest gaps we've actually had between 2 races here, but we share the circuit this weekend with the Mittelrhein Cup, the DTR and ADAC Mittelrhein Cup. The ADAC GT Masters are here as well. We also have the epic Iveco Corso going on later on this afternoon, which will be really cool to see. A load of Ivecos and a massive amount of trucks heading around the circuit in a huge, beautiful parade, which I really look forward to every single year. There's also a Scania Corso going on shortly. So much goes on around here at the Nürburgring at this event. It's fantastic fun. Let's see what Christina's up to. She's in the shuttle with Norby, I'm told. Let's have a word with him.
Absolutely, but the door's still open. I don't know if we... Well, okay. All right, it's it's closed now. It's closed. So I'm here with the race leader and winner, of course, 13th, championship points, not winnings in the row. So that was it. I was really concentrating to get this here on track. So how was the race for you? Because it was quite lonely then at the end, of course.
Yeah, I mean, unusual good start, from me. I had a little bit of space already in the braking zone for the first turn, so I could take it safe, and I was safely in front. Johan and Sasha go side by side a little bit behind me, and then Antonio joined the fight as well. So that already gave me a bit of a gap in front, and then I could do my pace and good laps. Try not to do any mistakes and stay in front. So yeah, good race. Very thankful for the team, for Avis Racing, for the guys, because we again did a good job. Yesterday with the free practices and everything. To find the right setup. And all is going really well. Absolutely,
and free practice was in rain. But I talked to Lucas Hahn, and we were talking about maintaining also the concentration. He said that he sometimes screams at himself. What do you do to maintain the focus?
Did he say that really?
Yeah, it was on air, so I can repeat it.
Yeah.
Does Norbert Kirst also scream to himself?
No, not really. I'm fine. I'm used to this. I think the best practice you can do for this kind of things is to drive the simulator, and I'm involved in a very nice esports team called BS Competition, and we do a lot of races, like we were there on the 24 hours of Nürburgring with Max Verstappen and everything, and driving there, and our team finished P2, and the other car, because we had 2 cars, and our car finished like P6 or 7 or something, but we did really well. And then we do 2 hours of driving at once, so that really helps you to practice to keep your concentration up, so when you do a race which is like only last 25 minutes, it's kind of easy.
What is the main difference between then sim racing and, of course, it's the atmosphere, it's the rumbling maybe, but the track itself, it's really authentic because the techniques is evolving so much. It's crazy. I once sat also in a simulator, and it is really big fun also.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love it. I love it. I love to do it, and I try to be involved as many races as possible on the sim. And it's very, very competitive. I try to practice, like 15 hours, 20 hours, or 25 hours or something, and I still, behind the guys on the simulator. They are so good. So it's, I think it's the best place to develop yourself.
And the best place to celebrate is the podium. So, and we're going to have a look at the highlights, and we're going to the podium.
Great to see Norbert giving sim racing a shout out there. He does race very well for BS competition, and like you said, it's a fantastic tool to train yourself. It's very realistic, and it's so close to the real thing now that it can be used as a tool to train yourself as a driver. Still, fantastic first race of the weekend here at the Nürburgring. Norby, like you said, got a strangely good start for him and managed to lead the way. And Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz certainly provided some entertainment early on. Sascha getting by Antonio Albacete with this move down the inside. Antonio getting a little bit shouldered out, but tried to squeeze and close the door, but just hard racing at the end of the day. Mark Taylor with damage was having to defend very hard all the way through that race and kept Clement Hecker at bay for the most part. Great move here by Jose Eduardo Rodriguez past Stefan Faas. He then disappeared up the road to try and take more points in the Chrome class. But at the front, Norby was on a charge, leading away from Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz with Antonio Albacete next up, while Jochen's son Lucas led the Chrome category all the way through to completion. The battle between Clemens and Mark was fantastic to watch, though. Clemens having so many attempts to try and get through down the inside, eventually getting it done down at turn 3 in the later stages of the race. Unfortunate penalties for Jonathan Andre would see him drop right to the back of the pack behind the remainder of the Chrome drivers, but it was great to have him with us once again. There the move from Clement Hecker down the inside to get the move done, as Norbert Kish completes another victory in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship and will be on the top step of the podium once more for the 13th time this season. Apologies, the 12th time this season. It's 13 rounds so far that we've completed, and that is Norby's 12th win of the season. Jochen Hahn, the only other driver to have won a race so far this season, and he won round 12 at Zolder just a couple of weeks ago. But the sun is very much out here at the Nürburgring now. I cannot wait to get out there and enjoy it and get sunburnt like a typically British person will do. But the conditions getting better and better all the time. It could be completely different by the time we come back just after 5 p.m. later on for the second race of the weekend. That's the thing with the Nürburgring. It can change so quickly. Even in just half an hour, we can go from conditions like this to an absolute rainstorm. You never know what you're going to get. But that's the charm of the place. It's a fantastic circuit to go racing at, and it caters to so many different forms of racing as well. The Nürburgring always works out one way or another. Of course, the legendary Nürburgring 24 hours takes place here. You can feel the atmosphere of that still lingering from that event earlier in the season as well. You know, there's so much to do with that event here, still plastered around all of the walls, and the history of it really does carry itself through the entire venue. It's such a special place. Very grateful to be up here on site once again this weekend. Hope you've all been enjoying the show so far, and all the fans will be enjoying the show down there in the fan village where we have our excellent podium, where the top 3 drivers from each race will head up there. You can see Christina run across there to get amongst the drivers, get amongst the atmosphere. Richard Keimberger, the amazing photographer, also down there on site. But look at how many people there are around here. It's so packed on Saturday here at the Nürburgring. This is potentially the busiest day, I'd say. It's a little bit busier than Sunday is. And the announcer now makes himself known, let's say, amongst everybody down there in the fan village. Sascha Lenz, the first one up to the podium. Big round of applause for him. Jochen Hahn next up. A huge cheer for Jochen. He is hugely appreciated around here. And Norbert Kiss onto the top step once again for, like I say, his 12th victory of the year. Jochen helping him up onto the top step. And the trophies will be brought out one by one now. Steady on, sunshine. Sascha receives his 3rd place trophy. Big smile from him. Great start to his weekend. Jochen receives his 2nd place trophy. Gorgeous trophies here for this weekend. Very lovely indeed. And Norbert Kish gets the 1st place finisher's trophy for round 13 of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And now we'll get the Hungarian national anthem for Norby. Big round of applause for Norbert Kish, our race winner. And the pictures will be taken from the top step, or on the top step, I should say, of all of our drivers in just a sec. And now the three of them celebrate with their trophies. I don't think they'll be drenching each other with champagne at this point. The changing of the caps. How could I forget? It's not yet sunshine, I can tell you. They want to change their hats. Now it's time for champagne, Jochen decides. They won't soak each other, I don't think. They don't tend to for the first race of the day. It's always races 2 and 4 where they drench each other. They value the overalls not having to be washed between races. They just try and soak the media and everybody else down there. Congratulations to the three of them. Let's have a look at the championship standings then as we come away from round 13. Still with another race to go this afternoon. Norbert Kish on 198 points now, ahead of Jochen Hahn on 145. Antonio Albacetti just 2 points ahead of Sascha Lenz now, who closes in after that race. Steffi Halm holds 5th position in the championship. Andre Kurzim closing in there as well, ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Stefan Faas, quite a distance back in the overall standings. Lucas Hahn makes it up into 9th place with John Newell in 10th position. Mark Taylor is 11th on 20 points, ahead of Heinrich Clemens Hecker, who then leads Louis Rikwenko and Luke Garrett with 2 points to his name. Those points scored by finishing top 10 overall in a race. And then, of course, the Chrome category is scored separately. We'll check their championship standings in just a second once we've done their podium. So we'll have our top 3, which will start with, I believe, Stefan Faas in 3rd position. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez will be in 2nd. And then the class winner will be Lucas Hahn. They get announced now to come up.
Für den dritten Rang den Deutschen auf die Bühne für Tankpool 24, Stefan Faas.
And there is Stefan, another podium finish for him. That is his 9th podium finish of the season in the category. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez making his 10th appearance in the top 3 steps. And Lucas Hahn taking his 3rd win and his 6th podium of the championship in the Chrome class. The trophy is presented to Stefan. He and Tankpool 24 will appreciate having some more silverware to add to the cabinet. Same with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Rebo Connaught Racing Team. Big smile from him. And then one of the definite rising stars of the series, Lucas Hahn. Great stuff from him. On home turf as well. And then we will get the German national anthem for Lucas. There we go, the German national anthem rings out on home turf for Lucas Hahn. And the guys now step up to the top step of the podium for some pictures. And then it'll be time once again for champagne.
It's time for champagne.
Trying to soak everybody in the media pen down at the bottom. And to be fair, these guys are quite reserved with the champagne usually in the Chrome class. They'll be taking some of that back with them to go and enjoy for the rest of the day. Like I said, nearly 6 hours until the next race of the day. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I do. I'm going to wander around the paddock and speak to absolutely everybody. Here's the chrome standings then coming away from the 13th race of the season. And it's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez now with a 15-point lead over Stefan Faas, with Mark Taylor still holding on in third position, just like he held on in that race with that puncture. A good drive indeed. John Newell in fourth place on 98 points is now 22 clear of Louis Requenco, with Lucas Hahn moving his way up the field into sixth place on 72 points ahead of Heinrich Clement-Hecker, Luke Garrett, Bradley Smith and Jonathan Andre, who scores his first point of the campaign. Awesome to see 10 Chrome drivers with us this weekend at the Nürburgring, providing lots of action. It's always a really strong category to watch. You never quite know who's going to come out on top and how it's all going to pan out. But we know that Steffi Halm will be on pole position on the very front row of the grid for later on, after finishing in 8th place outright in that race, with lots of fun and action to look forward to. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed the show so far, and I'll hand back down to Christina, and I'll see you later on this afternoon.
Thank you very much. Sometimes, staying on the podium means smiling faces, but with this maybe small tear in his eye, because the last round it was Steffi Halm overtaking you so you ended up on P9, and of course we do later have the reverse grid time, and that means that you will not start from pole position, but still you won the trophy. So what is the overwhelming feeling right now?
Ja, das Feeling ist natürlich jetzt im Moment gerade noch nicht so gut. Ich muss jetzt erstmal verdauen, was da jetzt passiert ist, und mir das mal anschauen, was genau der Fehler war. Die Steffi hat sich halt rangebremst. Ich habe die letzten paar Runden ein bisschen Gas rausgenommen. Ich habe gemerkt, die Reifen machen es nicht mehr mit. Wir haben sehr hohe Bremstemperaturen gehabt. Und dann habe ich etwas Gas rausgenommen. So ist sie wieder an mich rangekommen und hat sich dann halt an die richtige Position gesetzt in der Schikane, in der letzten Kurve halt. Ja, leider schade für mich, aber alles gut. Ich meine,
So I need to translate that, of course, to get you through. So he was taken out of gas at the last rounds a couple of bit because he was feeling that the tires they were not manageable really right, and so at the last chicane she was hard on the brakes, and then in the overtaking. And of course, he's saying that the feeling right now, which is overwhelming for him, that he needs to proceed or what happened exactly and make the technical analysis, of course.
Ja, genau. Und ich denke, wir müssen jetzt mal schauen. Fürs nächste Rennen starten wir dann von 9. Ist aber nicht immer so schlecht. Von dem her, sage ich mal, drückt mir die Daumen und gucken mal, wo wir rauskommen.
So he said, yeah, right now we're starting from P9, which is normally not the worst case scenario. So he talked to the fans right now, to you at home, saying, please, thumbs up for him and push the thumbs that he will maybe see a victory. So what is right now, because there's lots of times in between right now from first race to second race, any achievements or adjustments at the truck?
Ja, wir schauen jetzt den Truck einmal komplett durch. Die Bremsen müssen wir wieder nachschauen. Dann werden die Reifen gelost bei uns im Team, dass wir wissen, welcher Reifen wo drauf kommt. Und dann bereite ich mich sentimental darauf vor, einfach wieder in die richtige Richtung, sodass wir da nachher Gas geben können.
Danke dir. Sentimentale Vorbereitung, vor allem mentale Vorbereitung. He's a bit sentimental, but he was trying to tell us that he's going to be mentally focusing in between those races right now. And of course they need to see the tire, and of course they do the tire lottery, which tire goes where. The management is also important, and of course they're going to check the truck. They're also trying to check the brakes, because of course there are a lot of technical issues, smaller details, but of course he's absolutely then be focused and in the zone for the next race. There's a helicopter over there, as you can see it right now. 5:05 is the race number 2, and I hope this is not a drastic medical issue, but this is why we do have a bit of a sound issue right now. So all the best for everyone. We're trying to get an interview right then over there. Until then, we're going to say bye-bye. All the best for you. And it was spectacular. It is spectacular to see the fans here around the racing. We see the son of Stefan Faas taking the trophy, and they're going back to the paddock right now. Hopping on the bus here is Sascha Lenz also. Can we take a ride with you?
Yes, for sure. Why not?
So then I say bye-bye, and we're going to hop on this. Bye-bye.